Wow, that was loud. Welcome back to episode 27. You got a player?
Max Talbot, Game 7, Penguins, hero, as much as I hate to say it. But I'm going to go with my favorite, Jeremy Roenick on the Chicago Blackhawks.
How is he not the first go-to?
Nah, I'm just saying. It was kind of like a trick.
Yeah, it's...
Why the fuck would I pick a Penguin, Bob?
You said
Unless it's Mario Lemieux.
You said his name
Jaromir
first.
Jagr.
You said his name first.
I was just kidding with you.
You said his name first.
All right, whatever. Amateur.
It's been about, 2.5-ish weeks since the last episode. Preseason's finally started. Hockey season is here. And I am a giddy little girl.
Let's start it off hot real quick with who won the Flyers-Rangers game last night, Bob? Who won?
The Flyers.
Okay, but who did we get to see in net that everybody wanted to see? Even Rangers fans wanted to see
Carter
in net.
Hart, he was phenomenal. I mean, he's the reason why they won. Otherwise, I think any other goalie in net, I think the Rangers would have come back. They were just peppering him with shots, and he was standing on his head.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out there as well that whoever was doing the live stream of the game that I found on the Flyers website, I think it was awful.
I'm surprised
Awful.
Comcast didn't have a feed.
Yeah, well, they had the Islanders game the other night, and I thought that was cool. And I would have rather seen this game, to be honest, even though I got to see JVR and Ghost and everybody the other night. But
Yeah, that was the first game I watched. I missed the Rangers Devils game. I didn't catch all of it though. I honestly completely forgot. I thought they were playing today, not yesterday, and all the alerts through NHL's app were super late, so I didn't get them until like halfway through the first, end of the first, beginning of the second-ish time frame. But then I caught about a little bit less than 2/3 of the game. My take on what I saw, the Rangers didn't have quit. I'm okay with. Well, I mean, I'm happy about that. Not okay. I'm happy about that. It was all people fighting for spots besides 4 people. You had Lundqvist in net for the first half of the game. Zibanejad was playing. Shea was playing. I don't know if Pionk was playing. There were only like 3, maybe 4 players that were rostered for the day that, were probably guaranteed spots. The rest are people fighting. You had Hedel and a few other guys.
yeah, you guys got that goalie Lundqvist. He's a roster fringe guy.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll make the team. If he does, I'd be shocked. But yeah.
First of all, I just want to say I don't know if it's old age or not, but like, dude, I don't know if we've been rocking Lundqvist preseason, regular season, whatever it's been. We've been tearing him up, dude. And is it just he's been getting kind of chipped up a little bit in general?
Yeah.
Is it getting that time where you're like, oh shit? It's like watching if you were a Patriots fan, it'd be like watching Tom Brady slowly deteriorate. Not saying Lundqvist is the greatest of all time, but for Ranger fans, he's your guy.
He's up there though. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and I was saying this last night. I love the fact that he doesn't want to leave, and I'll say it, time and time again. But it breaks my heart because he deserves to have his name on the cup. If he does, instantly ink top 10 goalies all time with a cup win.
I mean, even without a cup win, I consider Lundqvist. Maybe because we grew up watching him, I consider Lundqvist one of the greatest ever. I would probably. Nah, I don't know if I put him in my top 10.
I mean, either
he's
way,
he's close.
Either way, he's like one of those guys that eventually will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If there's not, there's something seriously wrong. But it's a guy I just want to see him get his, and I know he's got that whole loyalty to the the city and the team and management and everything. But at one point, you got to say, all right, what can I I could be more beneficial to the team through a trade or something. Because he's not going to run out of free agency. I think he'll probably retire before his contract runs out. And it's one of those things where you trade him, you could potentially get another first round pick in one of the upcoming years, depending on who it is and where they end up. I'm sorry, he won't retire by the end of his contract. His contract's done 2021. Either way, he'll there's got to be something that he realizes that it might not feel the best, but it'll definitely be the best for the team. But as their play style, as I said before, they didn't show quit. They kept playing. They played great in the last minute or so. I mean, they were up on a power play and pulled their goalie, showed great coverage, great defensive effort. I think the Flyers had 2 or 3 shots on an open net, and the whoever was on D at the time was getting in the lane, and I think one of them just barely missed. Another one, there was no angle, so it went across the crease, and then maybe a third one happened. I don't remember. But there definitely are holes. I mean, and also saying that, half the team are people fighting for spots, so it's not going to be the highest of skill, but there's promise, and it's not going to be this year. I don't think it'll be next year, maybe not even the year after that, but there's something that could definitely come out of this season very good. And maybe if they do bad enough, there's a shot at Hughes. I'm just saying. Flyers look great, though. They looked fantastic. And I guess we could just...
It's all that hype around the prospect pool. The prospects look great. I mean, Flyers got a very good young farm system, and that's been known. It's just looking like time, like guys like Lindblom, who I think did benefit a lot from the NHL experience last year because he's been looking really solid this preseason. He's probably, I can almost guarantee...
He's still considered a rookie, right?
Yes, I believe so. He's going to be guaranteed, in my opinion, a roster spot. They sent down Morgan Frost and Isaac Radcliffe back to juniors.
I think that was a good idea.
It was, because at the same time, you don't want to have to... I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to jump into a spot now. Why force it? I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Yuri Laterra is still here. I mean, we can't... It's either scratch him or play him. And at this point, I mean, wouldn't you rather play him on the 4th line just for the penalty kill benefits? Goddamn. Even though he's not that great, he's a 4th line guy, and who knows, you might get a little more production out of him. Same thing with Dale Weiss. I mean, they might not play. It's either play him or don't. That's all it is. Simple as that. Play him or don't. No one's going to take him. You're stuck with him. Don't have to force a guy like Morgan Frost in there, and if he doesn't produce, then you got to send him back down in 9 games anyway. Just why do that to his confidence? I just don't think it's good, and just let him get that one more year in juniors, and who knows? Even at the end of the year, we might just say, hey, come to the Phantoms, or he might jump straight to the NHL roster. Who knows?
And to be specific on Lindblom, he is just barely still considered a rookie. So you need to do what, 26 games?
25.
25?
I think
yeah,
it's 25.
He did 23 last year, so
okay.
He just... they may have even done that on purpose. I don't know. I don't know what the...
Either way, it's not like he was dominant or anything in the AHL last year. Flyers called him up because he's good and he's young and he fit in the specific position they wanted to put him in on the wing.
And then nobody stepped up when he got buried into the stanchion during the playoffs? Just saying. Even that rattled me.
I just want to say that I always thought he was going to be good, and because...
He's a Swede. He's going to be good.
I just always thought he was going to be good because I was looking up, there's this guy on Twitter I follow. He's from, I believe, Finland, and he's always looking up all these European players, but he's a Flyers fan, so he's always looking up mostly the Flyers prospects, and he's always tweeting about this guy all the time, Oscar Lindblom. So I started looking into him, and I was like, wow, he's pretty good. And then he goes to the Phantoms, did decent, and then gets called up, and he plays relatively well, especially last preseason he looked good. I just think it's about time that the young guys are clicking in, and I don't think the term in 2 years will be competitive thing. I feel like I've been hearing that for Flyers forever now, or next year, or in 2 years. I think it's time now they start locking down as a guaranteed playoff spot.
Yeah. I think guaranteed playoffs this year. I mean, what they squeaked in last year, right?
JJ Smells.
And then
I'm gonna see if he's listening to this part.
And I mean, as long as they utilize the young guys in the way that they should, they shouldn't have a problem. I hate to say it, but they have a great team, and they're going to have a great team for a while. They're not gonna fizzle out.
You're goddamn right we do.
Even after one will drop out, they have another guy to put right back in that place. So they'll be just fine. And I mean, I'm on the 4-year plan for the Rangers as well.
Also, speaking of preseason, did you see who's making his debut tonight?
No.
Mr. Philip Zadina.
Oh.
He Zadina, whatever.
Zadina, yeah.
I was excited. I honestly didn't check before the game last night, but I clicked on my phone to see what he did because I was like, "Oh my god, he's playing. He's going to be out there." And then I realized he's not in. Today I saw a notification through one of my apps saying that he would be playing. So, pretty exciting. I believe on one of our podcasts after the draft, I said he's going to be the guy I think teams do look back on and say, "Shit, like we should have
Why
taken
did we pass him up?"
Yeah. So, dude, it'd be awesome if he just comes out and just drops bombs right away. And
well, I think he would have went to Montreal, right? Because
I think Montreal
predicted to go third.
Yeah, Montreal is a team that basically
grabbed that guy with the crazy last name.
Yeah, and he scored in his first game, by the way. That guy, Konamikinimi or Kontamiki. I'd say K.
Yeah.
Either way, I think he's the steal of not even a steal. I mean, dude's a first round talent, but I think he was the true gem. In all honesty, in this draft, and I can't wait to see it.
Do you know if Svechnikov got any playtime yet?
Did not check that. Something we could always look up.
I don't even know if Stalin did either. I think he did.
Probably. But my thing is, did you see Jack Eichel's goal the other night?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. The kid's disgusting.
Wearing the number 9.
If he stays healthy, watch out.
Yeah, watch out for what? Like 70 points, maybe. That's all he's putting up there.
I don't know.
I'll go 70 tops this year.
I mean, even still, 70 points. They still have a lot of work to do, but 70 points. They just re-signed Sam Reinhart. Did they re-sign somebody else too?
Max 70 points. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Another thing I want to talk about too, real quick, with all the preseason shenanigans. Have you seen what Phil Kessel has been up to this summer?
Is it the same thing as every summer? A lot of golfing?
Are you for real right now?
I didn't see. I saw the video. Right. I just never watched it.
All right, so basically they just go up and they say, what have you been doing this summer? And he goes, same old shit.
Literally, okay, yeah, I did see that one.
So I was just throwing that in there, and
the guy's a legend. He does what he wants, and then he'll drop 80
Only
points.
Thing that would have been nicer if he was like, just eating hot dogs and golfing and stuff. That would have been cool.
Yeah, but we found out he doesn't like hot dogs.
Yeah, it kind of ruins it for me.
Shit. What was I about to say? I think there were some decently sized contracts handed out within the last couple of days. Oh, hello. Along with those contracts, a couple of big trades too. Max Pacioretty is now a Vegas Golden Knight with a lovely 4-year, $28 million deal. And Carlson was finally moved after months of agonizing, suspense. They finally shipped him to San Jose. And that scares me.
It scares the shit out of me.
But I'm going to love watching it when they're not playing the Rangers.
I'm going to the home opener, and it's versus San Jose. And I was like, might as well just start us off at home 0-1. Oh, Jesus God.
I didn't see any of the video, but I saw it was like the post-practice interview with them, and they were just talking to him and asking him, like, hey, how did you like doing this? Like, you were running 3-on-3s with Burns and Pavelski. How was that? And he could not stop smiling. I think it's a permanent smile stuck on his face. How does this get any better? He's still got the deal right now. He can't re-sign until... I mean, I think at this point he could re-sign whenever, right? It's just cap issues that San Jose is running into, and they'll probably deal with it once they get closer to the draft deadline. or the trade deadline. But you're in San Jose. You're on a sick team now, as long as they don't seriously choke in playoffs like they normally do. And you have, in my opinion, the best D tandem in the league, if not second best. If you want to make weird arguments that
Bobby, it's the best.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. I mean, the only other argument is Predators.
And you're comparing who? Subban and who? Yossi? Because I don't think he's with Yossi.
It's either Subban and Yossi or Subban and Ellis, I think.
Nah.
One of those two.
Dude, it's Eric freaking Carlson and Brent Burns, Bobby. Just stop.
The two most offensive defensemen in the league. And they still have Vlasic, too. Vlasic's not bad either. He's just now going to be a severely overshadowed third defenseman. Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, a lot of people, once they heard that there was a trade between San Jose and Ottawa, a lot of people kind of put two and two together. But
there's one thing that's crazy about this all is that there's another two teams that I heard were mentioned in possibly getting him. The LA Kings. Imagine Drew Doughty and Eric Carlson.
That's another scary tandem.
I think that would be better than Burns because Doughty's more defensively sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then imagine Victor Hedman because I heard Tampa was one of the teams that were considered too. Imagine
Tampa's
Victor
just sucking everything up in the league.
Hedman and Eric Carlson. I think that would be better. I like Brent Burns, but I just think Hedman.
I think the offensive
Hedman
output
and Doughty
are
both a little more defensively sound than Burns.
The offensive output they'll have between the two of them is just going to be ridiculous. I mean, normally those guys are good for 65 apiece. Imagine them together. It could be even more. But along with those giant trades, I mean, we barely talked about Pacioretty, but we knew he was on his way out. Didn't want to re-sign in Montreal, who blames him. They're garbage right now. And then it was just kind of, I didn't expect him to go to, Vegas. But I think Vegas got what they wanted, and they shipped out Tatar too, which was, I mean, if you want to do the math, like, what did they give for Tatar? First, second, and third round?
They basically gave nothing.
For Thomas Tatar?
Oh, I think they gave a first, second, and third.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. I thought you were talking about I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about Pacioretty.
No,
they basically got him for nothing.
What I'm doing is
same thing as how San Jose got Eric Carlson.
Oh yeah,
and, like
Chris Tierney. And
whoever's looking at these NHL trades and like in the office when they're coming through, and he's like probably sending a fax back like, "Is this correct?" Okay.
Stamp. Done. It was nuts. It was a highway robbery on both sides. But yeah, basically they got, first, second, and third for Max Pacioretty, which, if you did that, that's kind of normal. I mean, you have a roughly 30-goal scorer every single year, besides a couple seasons. For that, all right, yeah. I think that was a really, really good pickup. And, I mean, he's getting paid a lot for 4 years. But he's a guy that, I mean, especially in this market, the higher-paid scoring wingers are all the craze. Who else was mentioned? Oh, yeah. Blake Wheeler got a super mega contract. 5 years, $41.25 million.
Deserves it. I don't care if he's old. Deserves it.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot. I don't know how old he is. I'll check right now.
I think he's, 37? Or 38? No, he's 37.
I don't think he's that old.
I think he's 37, bro.
Thought he was 36. Well, I mean, a year off, but it's like a huge difference. Oh, he's fucking 32.
What the fuck am I saying?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking about when the contract will end. He'll be that age.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, but
I don't know, because I remember the one day we were texting about it, and you were like, "Isn't he? He's gonna be so old by the end of the contract. Is he still gonna be worth it?"
Oh yeah. That's what I was
might
saying.
be why I was thinking that.
But it's weird. It's one of those, I think, odd salaries where he's getting paid a different amount every single year. But I mean, as long as he keeps producing, and that team is going to be as good as they are, which in my mind they will be, it'll end up working out. And I don't know about the whole trade clauses. There's probably something, and if he really, really wants to, help the team, and move and, help with cap space or acquiring a couple other pieces that end up helping the team, they probably would work something out. And then the last giant contract is Tyler Seguin.
One of the coolest contract announcements in the history
I was so happy
sports,
with that.
Entertainment, everything, anything like that ever.
They finally, after, I guess it was kind of stagnant a little bit, the talks between him and, Dallas GMs and ownership and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it was like just a giant bomb. 8 years, $78.8 million. He's getting paid more than Ben now. That's a lot of money and a lot of cap space he's eating up. So as long as he stays healthy, that's fuck it. That's a huge. I mean, it's not like a value deal, but I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a good contract both ways. I mean, they get to keep him and Ben together, so it's a huge factor.
Yeah, I don't know when they have to re-sign Ben, but we'll get into that whenever we, discuss the.
It's just a good signing. I mean, Sagan got what he deserved. If he stays, like you said, if he stays healthy, it's worth it. Otherwise, to me, when I saw it though, my first thought was, man, he gets hurt. That's gonna look real bad because it's gonna be he gets hurt often. He misses games.
Yeah,
significant amounts. But yeah, I mean, it really could be worth it. In the long run of things too, I also think Dallas, if Ben Bishop stays healthy this year, can be a true competitor. So.
Yeah,
him being there helps a lot.
It always comes down to that. They need I think they need somebody on the back end too. Klingberg can't carry that train. He's the only good one. I was talking to my friend about it.
Hey, Flyers got lots of young D. Call us up.
Yeah, they need somebody to help him out. I mean, he could, throw up however many points he did last year, upper 60s or something like that.
I think that's why they signed Sagan too, is because I believe they might have been trying to get Karlsson. Somebody did say that.
I think at the beginning.
Yeah, I know they were one of the teams who were trying to get him. So I think maybe not getting him was like, all right, now we can just sign Sagan and not have to worry about it.
Well, he was announced before the Karlsson trade, so either they were just like, fuck it, we're done waiting, or they knew something we didn't, which is, entirely possible. Thanks again for listening to episode 27 with Podcast Pigeons. I just want to take a quick break to remind you to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on iTunes. It would mean the world to us if you did so, and to follow us on Spotify if you don't use iTunes. We got some social media stuff that you could always check out. Facebook.com/Podcast Pigeons. On Twitter @Podcast Pigeons and Instagram @The Podcast Pigeons. In the near future, I want to plan on doing some Twitch streams. Me and Josh both play NHL along with a slew of other games. And if you guys want to, play against us, play with us, anything like that, just come check it out at twitch.tv/amuckinpigeon. I'll put that down below if you don't want to, figure out how to spell it out. And we're also looking for trivia game contestants. We had that one go with me and Josh's cousin. It's very lackluster, and we'd like to get some better competition out there on both ends. So it'll be roughly 10 questions. You can win a little gift card. Yeah, it's a fun little way to, make a couple bucks. So just let us know what you think about all of that on any of our social media, and I'll let you get back to the show. See ya. Now in more recent news, like the most recent news possible. Last night, between the Florida Panthers and the Montreal Canadiens, a little mishap happened with one Max Domi and Aaron Ekblad. I don't exactly know what happened before any of the videos. But
so basically, most of the videos do start, they're already tangled up.
Yeah.
And Domi kind of gives them the
it's a little
bit of the dad move.
They grab each other's collars like you normally do. And there's shoving, I think, on both sides. And then Domi throws a glove punch and then drops it and then just cranks Ekblad with a sucker punch. And, I mean, there was no... you can look at Ekblad. He's looking up ice. He's not even looking.
Yeah, I know, and it is the wrong thing to do, 100%. But that's one of those things. I feel like if the guy's tangled up for you that long, and like you said, yeah, if you don't want to go, you don't want to go. But I also believe in the fact that Ekblad's, it's not like he's not holding on to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you got to protect yourself.
It's not like he's arms out, like someone look, like not telling the refs like break it up or whatever. He's just kind of tangling up with him a little bit more too, and gets dropped. I mean, it's a little crazy to see a huge man like that get dropped by a little man.
I think he got injured too.
That's fucked up, and I agree with what Luongo said after the game.
It's gutless. They're not going to forget.
He's like, they're not going to forget, and they shouldn't, because that's bullshit.
Especially when you're in the same division too, so you're going to play them 5-6 times.
If I'm Montreal, I'm bringing out my big guys for when you go to Florida first time, or Florida comes there. I'm dead serious. That's the kind of game that they should put on NHL Network or NBC or something, because there is going to be some fucking good hockey in that game.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's going to be intense.
You look at the Florida, Florida.
Oh, and cool thing is Florida might beat the shit out of them because Montreal sucks now.
Yeah, and Florida's kind of sick. I mean, there's a couple holes, but they're pretty good. Florida doesn't really have a rivalry with anybody either, so that could very well develop into that, because Montreal, Boston, as old as that is, it's not there anymore. I mean, Boston's just way above them, and they have their thing with Toronto. I mean, you could have them with multiple teams, but it's not the same. A couple years ago, yeah. Little bit, but that's been dropping. I feel like this could really, really spark something between the Panthers and the Habs. Two other quick little things. One much bigger than the other. Andrei Pavlich announced today that he was retiring at the age of 31. Which kind of shocked me. It shocked me a little bit though. You're 31 years old.
Yeah, but you've always been basically a backup. He's had a few. Yeah. He started, I think, 1 or 2 seasons technically. Most times it was due to injury. One time I think he actually earned a starting spot. Besides that, he never really did a whole lot.
Yeah, after 11 seasons, he's
definitely deserves it. Some credit though. He's done a lot, and he's won some games and helped some teams out. But
unfortunately, had a losing record. But
just been bouncing around a lot.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's just one of those things that you look at it, it's just time.
Yeah. And on the bigger side of the retired game is Zetterberg. Unfortunately, has to retire due to basically
about goddamn times too.
Back injuries.
I'm sorry, dude. How many times we got to sit here and Zetterberg's hurt. Zetterberg's hurt. Dude,
that beautiful bastard was such a great hockey player. So much fun to watch.
Did you ever go to the dollar store and get a bunch of toys and just break them? That's like Zetterberg. They're Zetterberg toys. You just get them and break them. That's all they fucking do is break.
Well, the league's going to be missing out. I mean, when he's healthy, he was still the best player in the Red Wings last year.
No, I mean, dude was good. There's nothing to take away. He's 7th round pick.
Yeah, and that's another thing that absolutely blows my mind. And
Conn Smythe winner. Yep. Stanley Cup winner.
Yep.
Dude was good.
Yeah, he was insane.
It's just those last few years were a little rough to deal with when you're kind of sitting here looking at it. Like if Zetterberg was, if he was a Flyer, I'd be like, why the fuck we still paying this guy?
Yeah, he was a workhorse. He took a lot of damage, basically, and it sucked that it took this long. It's like, all right, like you have to stop, or you're really going to seriously hurt yourself. But he's going to probably have some sort of role with the Red Wings front office, guaranteed. And the guy's easily a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think. And the last thing we wanted to quickly talk about, I actually did get a question today when I asked you guys on Twitter if you want to know anything.
It's about time.
I want to thank my buddy Martino at the New Giroux on Twitter. And he asked basically what we thought was going to happen with this whole Panarin issue. Is he going to get moved? Let's see. Specifically, he says, do you guys see Panarin moving this season? And if so, when/where would it be a good fit? My issue with the Panarin situation is I don't understand why he wants to leave.
Well, my thing is I think Columbus, no matter how this turns out, is going to wait and see how they're doing. Midway through the season, they start looking like
it's his last contract here.
So they're going to sit there and say, all right, he could be doing really well, but we're not doing too good. And if the team's not doing good and he's here now, I mean, they might just ship him out. And he's going to want to get paid. They still got a decent amount of young guys on the team. But my thing is that I feel like Panarin's one of those guys, too. You got to consider. He came in when he was 25. So he's what, 28, 29?
He's entering his prime.
So this is that time where he's going to get the big contract and he's going to produce. You got to make sure, whether if you're Artemi Panarin, do you want to stay in Columbus, who seems good but doesn't also seem like, I don't hear a lot about their future going up and up and up.
They're
Bob
close
gets hurt,
to that win now.
Like,
if they're gonna win,
like, yeah, exactly. Like, and I don't think they're gonna. So I think halfway through the season or near the trade deadline, they say, all right, we're most likely gonna either be fringe playoff or not make the playoffs. That's the big deal. If they're fringe, they might say, hey, we got a shot. Let's keep them. At least ride it out to the end of the year.
Yeah, and then you figure it out.
He's producing for us. Or if they're like, all right, we're more than likely not going to make it, then they'll probably be like, all right, we're going to ship him out. And if I see him going anywhere, I could see him going where a team
has a lot to give for starters.
Well, not it has a lot to give, but has to have. I feel like they're not going to. I feel like a team's not going to trade for Panarin unless they know he's staying there.
Yeah, it would have to be a sign.
Yeah, trade and sign. Like I feel like he's one of those guys that also doesn't want to move around a lot either. I feel like I don't know. It just something strikes me about him wanting out of there now. I think he just wants to win, but at the same time, like he doesn't seem too pushy about it. So
he had said to was it Kekalainen or whatever the hell the GM's name is? It's a crazy name. That he wanted something to be done, and his deadline was training camp. And, the GM's like, the only deadline I care about is the trade deadline, as any GM. Like, you're still under contract. If you don't play for us, you're going to breach a contract. I mean, we can always sit you. That's our decision. But if you choose to lose, I mean, it's trouble for you, not so much trouble for us. Other than losing a scoring winger.
I just think like I said, though, I don't think he leaves unless there's a contract in place for him. The dude wants to get paid and he wants to be guaranteed. Like every player now wants that guarantee. Yeah. He doesn't want to be moving around and then say, all right, I'm going to bounce around from here and now I'm going over here. I truly feel like if he goes somewhere, it's somewhere that he's going to sign a contract and stay.
Yeah, and I mean, being a player that for the 3 years that he's been in the NHL has almost been a point-a-game player. Played 80 games first year, had 77 points. 82 games second year, had 74 points. And then 81 games last year and had 82 points. He can produce, and we saw last year, he could still produce even without Patrick Kane. Which is, I mean, even I said the first 2 years, of course you're going to put up 70-plus points. You're playing with Patrick Kane. Like, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. You have one of the best guys in the world, on your wing. I would
think trade deadline is the best chance of him getting moved because the only other way they're going to trade him is at the draft, but before free agency. But I would think trade deadline is when he gets moved more than likely.
But to where?
Flyers have a lot of cap, man, and I always want to say them, but I would pick Colorado.
That's interesting. I never would have thought Colorado. I know Bruins had interest. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, it's tough because he's going to ask for that big ticket, and when you look at projected cap space, it's not an exact number. Winnipeg Jets.
I think Colorado because I feel like Colorado is one of those teams they realize they can be good now, and
since they dumped Duchesne,
and with a guy like McKinnon out there. You want to guarantee he's happy. Well,
and you got McKinnon at center and then him at wing.
That's what I'm saying. You want to guarantee that he's happy. You give him more pieces.
They have a shitload in cap space, too.
Exactly why I picked Colorado. I've been thinking about this for a couple days. This has been on my mind before we were asked.
And then, I mean, Colorado sounds nice. I don't know.
Flyers got a lot of cap, bro.
There was also the thing where there was that deal where the Rangers can make it. I'm not going to say the Rangers. I think that's a huge pipe dream. It would be awesome, obviously, but I don't think that would happen. A lot of pieces would have to be given up because, it's not like they have any guys that would replace him on the Blue Jackets. Yeah, for me, when you mention it, Avalanche looks like a solid spot. And even, Toronto. looking at them now, they have a lot. They have even more cap space than the Avs. I don't remember when
They have to
does.
sign Nylander.
Yeah, that's gonna eat up something. I mean, he was asking for 8, and I think they were shooting for 6. He's probably gonna get around 6.5, just under 7. I don't see any higher. So it all depends. Or you could even, work a trade that way. I don't know. When you mention it, Colorado does seem,
I just think Colorado's a good fit.
yeah, it could work. You'd have a crazy fast line
Yeah.
between it, and even if they weren't just a normal line, that power play would be disgusting as well. So
Yeah. Because I don't want to see him go to Boston.
yeah, so I appreciate your question, Spice, and I'm glad to see that you actually care. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Other than that, we'll be back next week. We'll have a little bit of a Metropolitan overview. Maybe, East as a whole, depending on, how much we come up with and how much research we do. Other than that, as always, thanks for listening. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us on Spotify. We got a Twitter. We have an Instagram. And we have a Facebook. Twitter is at Podcast Pigeons. Instagram is at The Podcast Pigeons. And Facebook is facebook.com/Podcast Pigeons. Follow us on all that stuff. We are trying to post more, especially with the season now kicking off. Twitter's definitely going to be firing off. I'll probably end up doing the same thing with the Facebook side of it. We'll look for more stuff to put on Instagram and, bring to us.
Hey, and
Bring
if
to you guys.
anybody wants to call in, please DM us. We are looking for guests to compete in trivia-based games. Which prizes will be awarded?
Yeah, and I mean, I got a job now, so that's easier to swing.
Oh, okay. Bobby's the money man.
Yeah, and
I'm tired of being a money man.
I mean, this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but I'm trying to stream a little bit on Twitch, and I mean, I'll be playing with Josh.
Yes. Oh, by the way, anybody wants to play us in NHL? We are going to
19,
do
we got it.
a stream.
Upgraded.
We would like to stream and play against anybody who wants to listen and actually play against us. So
Yeah, so I'll put, my gamer tag down low in the description of this thing.
you will be catching a body center ice.
Mostly from him, not from me, because I'm very bad. Either way, just let us know if you want to see that, if it'd be fun to see, if you want to play. Cool, awesome. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Peace.